Ladies and gentlemen, grab your drinks and popcorn. Today's feature is about to begin. Welcome to Celluloid Codswallop.
Welcome to this week's Celluloid Codswallop. I am Gemma.
And I'm James.
No redacted James this week. Unfortunately, we couldn't pin him down for our last, for now, Celluloid Codswallop. However, ironically, we have a special guest with us with a 12-hour difference, which was easier to arrange than trying to record a normal episode with redacted. Equally, it wouldn't be right to record this film review without someone from the future. Please welcome to the podcast, returning guest from Lights in the Sky podcast in New Zealand, my buddy Luke.
Yay!
Hello, here I am. Yeah, here I am from the future.
Yes, you are. Hello.
Bum, bum, ba, 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 bum.
That's it. It's an absolute pleasure to join you. This is going to be a lot of fun. How fitting to have someone from the future on the Back to the Future episode. Yeah,
I know. It's almost like I planned it.
Great Scott.
I know. Great Scott. So I'm going to hand over now to the wonderful James, who is going to do the rest of this episode. Well, not the rest of this episode. We are going to interject as well.
yeah, that's all from me. Nice to talk to you all.
Right, the rest of you piss off. It's me for an hour and a half.
But yeah, he did allow me to. Oh, well, he didn't allow me. I made him let me do the introduction this week. But of course, now I hand over to the wonderful James to take over.
Well, to be honest, I didn't have much choice. You're the boss. You
I know.
say what you say goes.
Yeah, you're right.
As our finale, as it were, for now,
Yes.
temporary, but as our finale, we were going to discuss the Back to the... Well, something I wanted to clear up with pair of you. Which would you rather do? Talk about Back to the Future as an entire trilogy or just as part one?
Wow.
I think focus on just part one was what I was thinking, but I will go with the majority.
Yeah. Part one means that we can come back and do 2 more episodes, right?
Well, I was going to say we'll cover part one and then do a little bit on the rest of it because obviously it all ties in. So
Sounds
Beautiful.
good.
On that note, do we have a preference on which order are they in best to worst? I think it's pretty unanimous that it goes 2, then 1, then 3, is it not? Are we going to fight right now?
no, we are going to fight right now. Best is 1, second best is 3,
Okay.
worst is 2.
No, I'm afraid I'm going to have to end this call right now.
Right, bugger off then.
You're saying the future episode is the worst episode?
Yes.
I mean, worst.
Yes.
And you're kidding, or?
Nope. I have this. To be fair though, this is a personal thing of I've never liked the middle of any trilogy.
Well, I will also say it's a personal thing because I'm 40 years old and I've never met someone who says that part 2 is the worst of the trilogy. So
Yeah, it's one of
it's
those.
a single person thing, is what it is.
I love the first half of Back to the Future Part 2. The actual going to the future.
Mm-hmm.
Them going to 2025
Mm-hmm.
was 2015.
Yes.
Them going to 2015 was fantastic. The jumping around with the almanac
Timeline?
afterwards.
Gotcha.
That's where it's the alternate 85. It's a lot happening where I like the individual action scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not my preferred timeline.
Mm.
Interesting.
I prefer
Okay.
part 1 for the actual concept of, it's a time travel story. It's you go to the past, you try to go back to the future without changing too much, and we see that it doesn't actually work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun to point out the little changes.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2 is a bit of a spaghetti loop mess of timelines
Okay.
because it's like somehow they go back to the original 1955 to an alternate 1985, back to the same original 1955 to go to the alternate 1985 that they created at the end of 1. And yes, now my brain is turning to soup.
Yep.
That's my grief with it.
Okay.
I love the fact that it was again, they were filmed back to back 2 and 3, which is why they seem so seamless. And again, I like watching them kind of as one as a whole thing. If I watch 2, I have to watch 3 straight away afterwards.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, my preferred favorite is 3, just because I think I prefer the time period they visit.
Okay.
I love the Old West.
This is totally new.
Having Back to the Future in the Old West, I've always find hilarious. As me and Gemma discussed, when Seth MacFarlane has his Easter egg of his own DeLorean in A Million Ways to Die in the West. And he actually got Christopher Lloyd to guest star and cameo.
That's right, yeah.
As Doc Brown in 1885. That was one of the few things that made me love that film as well, despite the fact it's crap.
It's not crap.
So interesting. I've never heard that hot take before of the third one being the favorite one. Never in my life. Maybe it's a Northern Hemisphere thing.
No, it is a me thing because
it's a James thing. Yeah.
Truth be told, here's the thing, right? Yeah, it is just a me thing because I also hate part 3 because I'm a car guy and nothing makes me cry more than watching the DeLorean get hit by a train.
Aww.
Oh yeah, I remember that when I was a kid. That was always a sad piece for me.
I hate that ending. I hate watching the car get ripped to shreds as the train plows through it.
Yeah.
But I know it's part of the storyline. And it's a nice little shoe end of not only the fact that he destroys the time machine.
Yeah.
It's a good shoe end to from a plot writing point of view, from a filmmaking perspective. It's good because it's the whole point of the plot device is gone. Therefore, the story can be over for Marty, and then Doc returns with the new time machine. It's a good element, but yeah,
it wraps it up in a nice little bow, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's that idea of, unfortunately, stories have to end, and one of the worst things at the moment in modern media is people don't want to end stories because ending stories means no more future product, which means no more money.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I have a question for you both, though. Obviously, I know we're covering number 1, but, with regards to 2015, how disappointed were you that we didn't have flying cars by now?
Yeah, it's we were promised so much.
We were.
Just 2014, we're like, any day now. And then
the weird thing is, I have to admit, you look back at some of the 2015 technology and we do have it. So I was impressed to a degree at they did actually get some predictions right.
Like the 3D and stuff.
The unusual drinks bottles, 3D, multi-screening, multiple telephone users.
Skype or whatever the kids call it these days. Video calls. Yeah.
Yeah, video calls were always a future product, and then it turns out we're on one now. So obviously they got that right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I was a little depressed that we didn't get flying cars, and where's my goddamn hoverboard?
Yeah. Although they did try and bring that out, didn't they? And then it was blowing up all over the place or something, wasn't it? So
yeah, the hoverboards we got had lithium-ion batteries that were made so poorly that they would leak, and then exposure to oxygen would make them ignite immediately.
I don't remember that bit from the movies. Yeah.
No, that bit they left out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going back to we'll start at the beginning then.
Yes.
So obviously, Back to the Future Part 1, 1985 it's set, but it was filmed in 83, released in 87, I want to say, or 86?
Yeah, I think so. The Ute in it is in 1987, so I think it was an 87 thing.
They mucked up their own timeline by setting it 2 years in the past.
I was going to say, though, because isn't it 40 years old, though?
That's true, yeah, so it must be 85. Yeah, it definitely is 40 years old.
It was probably latter end of 85, so it's probably September release. It's not like we have the internet at our fingertips to check.
No.
No, I know it's 40 years old because so am I, and my entire 40th birthday was themed by it.
It was 1985, so I was wrong. I'll hold my hand up on that one.
Strangely, I was looking at my my Back to the Future merch / tat just before we were recording, as you know, and I've got the Toyota pickup truck as a Hot Wheels car, and it's a 1987 Toyota pickup. So explain that one.
Yeah.
That is a common goof. That is a common goof. That is down to Hot Wheels themselves do not have the rights to the correct year.
Interesting.
The rights to the molding of the correct year belong to a different toy company.
Mm.
So Hot Wheels basically went, right, we'll go 2 years forward and we'll just throw it in.
Yeah, close enough shape.
Well, if I remember correctly, during production, the reason it was introduced as a raffle prize was because it wasn't road legal. Toyota hadn't released the model yet. So when they were making it, it wasn't officially out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they featured it, but they featured it as a prize to be won in the movie because it couldn't be purchased yet.
Ah.
But
You've been doing some reading. I can tell you've been reading up on this for probably 40 years.
I'm 36, and I'd like to see how I did minus 4 years of reading. No, as I say, I do love this film. I've watched it's one of my comfort films.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put the DVD in my computer. I'll slap on the commentary over the top if need be, and just let it play in the background while I'm doing anything else. Just because it's like a warm blanket. It's like a warm blanket of storytelling.
Yeah,
100%. I agree with that.
it's the mac and cheese. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Comfort food of movies for sure. This is the one that when you're a kid and you were off school sick and they put on, for me, a VHS. It was the VHS of this that we had bought from like a Blockbuster that was closing down type thing, and it was an ex-rental copy and had blurriness in all the right places, and yeah,
you can tell where it had been rewound like 9 times.
Yeah, that's right.
For me, it was this and the original Jurassic Park.
Oh, yep, I could see that.
These were kind of like my go-to. I feel like crap, I'm putting this on. And then as I got older, that became RoboCop.
Yeah, ours were, I think some of my family is in Southampton, and I think my nana had brought back a case of Disney DVDs. So we had Pinocchio, Cinderella, all of that. So it was Pinocchio plus Back to the Future. But I know what you mean with Jurassic Park, because that was my one that came later and still is. Like, I still put that one on. Yeah, for sure.
I still hold up that was it was the beginning and the end of the franchise. They set the bar so high.
Oh, yeah.
The first one, like everything else was going to be downhill. And
Yeah.
almost happened with this film. The way I love Robert Zemeckis' work, who is the director, and he's director, co-writer, and his work is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, he's responsible for things like Ghostbusters as well. He is the 80s like icon.
Yeah.
For what I would say is family friendly, basically.
High concept stuff, right?
Yeah,
but still done in a family way.
Yeah, it's like, again, Ghostbusters, he created a franchise. Back to the Future, he created a franchise, and his stuff endears to this day. I always said that Ghostbusters was one of the few films that never needed remaking. They ignored me and did it anyway.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That female version was awful. And I can say that because I'm female, so, everyone can say it, but it's all right for me to say it.
It means more, it's less sexist when you say it.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I love the beginning of this film. It opening up with the fact of we don't see anyone's faces. It's a panning shot of nothing but clocks.
Yes.
But there's so much storytelling in that short sequence.
It almost makes you think as well, oh God, what's happened as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you think, oh my God, is he, is the person that he's... Obviously, if you're looking at it as a first time watching, I'm thinking that, you're walking into this house and it's all looking around this house and you're thinking, oh my God, has somebody died in here or whatever, isn't it? So...
Yeah, because there's nothing but clocks. Yeah. There's the fantastic Rube Goldman machines of...
Rube Goldberg device.
Yeah, the beautiful food machine that Doc makes for Einstein, which is overflowing.
Yeah.
Like he's dumping can after can into his bowl. So you think, oh God, even the dog, something might have happened to him.
That had to truly stink. It's like
Probably.
Yeah, when Socks is on wet dog food, it's like, oh.
And especially that much under hot studio lights as well.
Yeah.
That will have been a one and done to make sure the cameraman doesn't gag as he's panning.
Yeah.
But it's, like I said, the storytelling elements that are in that sequence, like Marty skateboard knocking into the plutonium crate, you can hear on the radio that activates when the clocks hit a certain time. The news report of the people saying that plutonium's been stolen, suspected that it's terrorists, and you think it's such a background noise. You kind of zone it out, but then you realize later on they were talking about this. This is connected.
Yeah.
And then there's the wonderful scene of Marty plugging into the gigantic amplifier.
Yes. Very cautiously.
Did you get the foreshadowing of the what was it? Harold Lloyd silhouette
Christopher
hanging
Lloyd.
off of a clock? Harold Lloyd. So from Safety Last, the old black and white movie, Buster Keaton days. Yeah. So one of the clocks actually has a person hanging off of it, which is like that similar silhouette to Doc Brown later on in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's one of the first major stunts.
Yes, that's right.
Was him hanging off the single clock finger as it's rotating round, so he's going to lose his grip eventually.
Yeah.
And then Doc ends up doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and then we get the fantastic intro set to, of course, Huey Lewis and the News.
Yeah. I can't hear that song without thinking of the introduction of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Because it was written for the film.
Yeah.
The video features Christopher Lloyd and is all about basically Doc Brown going to a gig and having his time machine stolen outside by a bunch of groupies.
But also the way that Marty gets to go to school as well. He's on his skateboard and he's on the back of, holding onto the back of cars.
I still love the fact that one guy just looks back, Marty nods at him, and he's just like, well, what am I going to do? I'm just going to drag this kid around.
Yeah, exactly.
When I rewatched this today, and I'm kicking myself I didn't go back, but that the way that was shot, where he's coming out of Doc Brown's house and attaching himself to that ute, basically makes it look like Doc Brown lives next door to Burger King.
He does.
So that seems odd. Is it just like the back of his house or something strange going on there?
It makes sense in that his Doc Brown's house was built in the 1800s, as we find out later in part 3, because his family moves from Germany, the Von Brauns, moved to they moved to America and changed their name to Brown. So it makes sense that it is a older, dilapidated building that they've just built businesses around because they couldn't afford to reset. No one could afford to buy it and rezone it.
Oh, they also allude to he sold a lot of his family fortunes to fund the time machine. So,
well, I was going to say that's why when you look at the house in the 50s, that is a big ass house.
Yes, it is,
and we never see it again.
Yeah,
and we never see it again.
Yeah.
So I would so it's probably a case of, you're right, he probably sold the house and he lives in more like a workshop, which would be commercial zoned, which kind of makes sense for being at the back of a Burger King.
I never put two and two together, even until today, where I'm like, hang on a minute, that gate he just skateboarded out because he's late for school, he grabs onto the ute with the way out of the Burger King car park.
He's leaving the drive-through and he just grabs on. But it's also the fact of the house that Doc lives in 85 is very similar to the house that Biff lives in 55.
Right. I didn't rewatch the other two, so that's not top of mind.
No. In the first film, when Marty jumps in the when they fall, because Marty's spying on everyone.
I see what you're saying. Yes.
It looks very similar to Biff's grandma's house.
And
I think the I always got the illusion that it was supposed to be in the very similar areas. Because again, the whole film is about like secret connections, because obviously this is his parents' childhood. So you're supposed to kind of, it's why Hill Valley's, he watches the town, you watch the town square change and you see the old cinema. I love that panning shot. So we'll discuss that in a minute. So Marty goes to school. We meet Strickland, the best 1980s TV principal ever.
Well, there's the other one from Breakfast Club. Mess with the bull and you'll get
Mess
the
with the
horns.
bull, you get the horns.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
But very similar characters.
Yes.
I hate slackers.
Yeah.
I love how Strickland hates slackers.
Yeah.
And the fact that in alternate 1985, when Marty runs across him and he's like, "Did that man ever have hair?"
Yeah, exactly.
And that was in the 50s.
Yeah, the 50s.
It turns out
yeah.
Strickland is still
Bold.
He is still bald, but still the principal. So he's been the principal for 25 years.
Yeah.
It's just like, did that man ever have hair? I love the fact we get this introduction to Marty's life. He's the youngest of 3 kids. His dad's a bit of a pushover. We get introduced to Biff, who is stereotypical. You'll do everything I say. I'll take credit for everything you do. I love the old-fashioned jokes of him knocking Crispin Glover on the head all the time.
Yeah.
Hello, anyone home?
Yeah.
He's just such an absolute arse to him. And it's a wonderful setup of, you get to know all the characters in really interesting ways. It's not dragged out. And then we get to meet Doc Brown at midnight at the Twin Pines Mall.
Yes.
That introduction of that car is iconic, because he just comes down. There's this big box van. Einstein's sat in the front seat, so Marty's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then the back opens, smoke pours out, and a 1983 DeLorean backs out of this van, and it's just like, it's got all the time machine greebles on it. It's got the vents on the back,
the flux capacitor.
Have you ever wondered how he got into the car to then reverse
I was just about to bring that up, because it's physically impossible. Because I don't know if you know this, Gemma, but as you can see behind Luke, that is the time machine, and that is how the doors open.
Yes. Yeah.
There is about this much space either side of the car when he backs it out of the truck, which means Doc got in the time machine, parked himself in the back, has the back of the van set up on some sort of remote, and sat and showboated. He waited for the right time, and I'm assuming he could look through the mirrors in the cab, like from inside the DeLorean, to know, right, Marty's here. Drop the back door.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, to be fair, it is just one of those things that, there's possibly a discussion about it on set as they're filming it, and then they probably go, screw the logic, this will look cool.
Yeah.
And fair enough too.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have to remember that 90% of making a film is, the goal is to suspend your belief to a certain degree. That's the whole point of filmmaking. It's making that suspension of your belief believable to the point where you don't even think about it. And I think this is one of those scenes where, yes, nitpickers will like to go, well, how did he get in? It's like, yes, but when the end result is a fantastic shot, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think also as well, and I'm not meaning you two at all with this comment, but I think that there's always going to be people that do like nitpicking about stuff.
Yeah.
So why not just go for the cool look and get those people,
for sure.
At least they're talking about the film still, aren't they? So
there's always going to be someone to complain, because the worst thing is, like, Luke and I have just pointed that out, but neither of us mean it in, it ruins the film, it's completely awful.
Oh no. Yeah.
We just notice it as, it's a bit of a head scratcher, but at the same time, I don't care.
Yeah. How cool did that shot look?
It's fantastic. Who gives a shit? it doesn't matter. It was cool, like with 90% of stuff. So then we get the first activation of the time machine. We show that Doc has rigged it up to remote control, quite possibly the best remote control toy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Him driving around the parking lot with it, and it's the look he gives him when the two of them are stood in the middle of the car park, and Marty is edging his way slightly to one side.
Yes.
As the car is building up speed, and he just looks at him.
Yeah, the glance at where they're standing and then looking at him. Yeah, just perfect.
It's the fact that he looks at Marty, looks down, and then looks back at Marty, and then looks at the car still barreling towards them.
Yeah, but he also pulls him closer to him as well, doesn't he? As well.
No, well, that's the thing. He doesn't put a hand on him. He makes him do it just by looking at him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because Doc's still got his hand on the remote control because he's still driving the DeLorean at the time. So he just kind of looks over at him and he's like, no, come on. And just does it all with a look, which is hilarious. And then again, we get the iconic scene of it hits 88 miles an hour. It dematerializes. You get the lightning strikes on the floor. Again, another nitpick. One that's always kind of bothered me from like an editing point of view because they could have fixed it. The fire goes through Marty's foot.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be through their legs, and it goes through Marty's foot. But again, I don't care because it's awesome. A car just disappeared into a giant lightning flash, and there's 2 streaks of fire. I don't care.
Yeah,
that was the best thing ever. And then it reappears, and we see, and again, Doc does the fantastic monologue to Marty's camera, explaining the time machine as well.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the best part, is he actually explains it. You know, he tells the story, and it's entertaining, but it's also an info dump of plot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's well scripted and well hidden. So he's explaining how I had a vision in the 50s. I fell off the toilet. I banged my head on the sink, and I came up with this. And he flicks the switch for the flux capacitor behind the seats.
Not only that, he's also getting Marty to film it the whole time, which then becomes the thing that they use as a device later to explain it all again by having it on film. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all really well written. Like they call it the Chekhov's gun. If you show it, explain why. So like you said, why is there a camera? Because it's going to get used later. Why, and as I said, they go through the time machine. He explains how the time machine's powered by plutonium. And it's like, you stole that plutonium. Look, technically, the terrorists stole the plutonium. I stole it from them and gave them a bunch of bombs filled full of pinball machine parts. I do love that concept of...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does come back to bite him in the arse.
The arse, yeah.
Or should we say in the chest?
Yeah.
So Doc's explaining that the time element runs on plutonium, but the car runs on regular leaded gas, which is again hilarious. It's like, no, this sucker's nuclear. You need the 1.21 gigawatt. And then we get the unfortunate moment of, so he's loaded the plutonium into the chamber. He's just about to load another round of plutonium into the car because he even makes a point of, I've only got enough fuel for one journey. Again, wonderful foreshadowing. So he's just about to go and get more plutonium from the truck when my new favorite meme for about 5 years was just yelling the words Libyans. Whenever anything went wrong, it was just to yell, "It's the Libyans, Marty! They found me!"
I like the subtle little touch of something about Doc Brown's got this time machine, amazing looking car, all of the smoke effects and electricity and all these things. But he's got this dowdiness to him where he's like wearing brown and beige and tartan, and that one where he goes to grab his luggage to chuck in the car to take to the future is this old suitcase that he'd probably had since the 50s type thing. It just looks straight out of some sort of secondhand store. It's quite funny.
Yeah, it's the fact that he's probably had it since he was a kid.
Yeah.
But it's like, and the infamous line of, you built a time machine out of a DeLorean. It's like, well, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it in style.
Yeah, I agree. I love the DeLorean.
Yeah, me too.
Well, a fun fact for you, Gemma. Did you know originally it wasn't going to be a DeLorean?
I did. Yes.
I know.
It was going to be a refrigerator.
That would have been fun too.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Robert Zemeckis was in a meeting and just went, yeah, I think we're going to get kids trying to climb into fridges. This might not be a good idea.
Mm. I think the DeLorean's an interesting choice, though, because it's so slow in real life.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not. That's a common misnomer, because I actually own a similar car from the 80s, to which 90% of the engine from my car gets usually stolen and put into DeLoreans. But the DeLorean at the time was capable of over 120 miles an hour. It had 300 brake horsepower.
I mean, it might have fallen apart if you got to that speed, but yeah.
Well, no, sorry. Allow me to correct myself. It had 180 brake horsepower. So it wasn't that powerful, but it wasn't that slow either. The problem was California.
Just in general, California.
Yeah, well, no, they put the restrictions on it, which is why the Speedo only reads 85 miles an hour. It will go well over that.
Yeah.
But it was the state of California that put all the embargoes on, but that's where he sold the majority of the DeLoreans.
Interesting.
I think also the fact that repairing it was really expensive as well, wasn't it? It was just, unfortunately, that car is amazing because it was in Back to the Future, but in reality, that car was the goddamn worst thing ever.
Yeah, it's the only reason.
Yeah.
I'm just reading stats, and it says, yes, the top speed is 130 miles an hour, but 0 to 60 was 10 seconds. So, I mean, you're trying to get to 88 in a car park. There's something not quite right there.
Again, it's down to the body construction. Like, my car is the Renault GTA Turbo, which is basically, it's the same kind of idea of a 2+2 coupe, but my car's made entirely out of fiberglass and has a turbocharger on the same rear-mounted V6.
Mm-hmm.
So my car makes 200 brake horsepower and it has a curb weight of just less than a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually has a top speed of 160, and it's not to 60 is 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So it could have done it.
Yeah.
But if he'd chosen aluminium instead of stainless steel, he'd have been fine, because that was the big problem. But that's actually one of the reasons why the DeLorean got chosen, is because of the stainless steel body.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the reasons is because it's the phenomenon of the Faraday cage.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that when you wrap yourself in a shell, it protects you from certain types of radiation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the idea that that's why he chose the DeLorean, because it was so sleek.
Mm-hmm.
It would protect the occupants from any undue radiation incurred via time travel. Yeah,
It's a theory.
Science.
It's
all a bunch of hooey. It's all a bunch of hooey. But anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to the film. Back to the film. Dun,
Yeah.
dun. That's the episode. That's the name of the episode. Back to the film.
No, we're just going to call it Back to the Future so that people actually look at it.
Back to the film. Brackets.
Also works.
Back to the future.
Yeah.
Before we leave the scene in the car park, have I missed it for 40 years? Is there some reason why it's not weird for a 17-year-old boy to go meet an old man in a car park at 1 o'clock in the morning? Do they say why?
Yes, in the words of Bluey.
Okay. So not in the movie then.
It was the 80s. Things were different in the 80s.
Okay.
Funny enough, actually, that was going to be because they never said why those two became like friends or whatever, was it?
No,
never.
It was never discussed.
Mm.
Never
It was just normal.
introduced. It was just perfectly normal. There was no negative connotations towards it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that kind of explains the giant amp in the first scene. Like, was he there for playing with his giant speaker on his guitar? I don't know. Maybe.
I like to think part of it was that, and I think the other part was, I think it was one of those things where Marty probably got told as a kid, don't hang around Doc Brown, he's a bit of a weirdo. What happens when you tell kids not to do something? They go
They
and
do
do it.
Yeah.
They realize that, like, he realizes Doc is completely harmless.
Yeah.
And they've just kind of grown up as Marty's probably the only one who's ever treated him like he's an intelligent human being.
Or he was just hanging out in the Burger King car park and thought, what's this house
Possibly.
next door?
Possibly. Well, imagine this. Like, imagine a 12-year-old Marty. So about 5 years before the film. Yeah, he's hanging out at Burger King. He sees a guy building random science experiments, wanders over, has a chat with him. They become friends. There's nothing, And I always like to think that's the relationship. Plus, I imagine with George being the way he is,
He needs a father figure. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because George is George when he's wet lettuce George. Like I wouldn't want to spend time around him either.
No.
If he were my dad.
He's laughing at his TV programs.
God bless that casting of Crispin Glover, because holy shit, is he brilliant at being a creep.
Yeah.
It's a shame it carried over to real life.
Yeah, that is massively the case, unfortunately. Yeah. I was going to say, so we've been recording for about 40 minutes now. Can we get off the first scene?
Sorry.
No, this is what she's like.
No, yeah.
This podcast is going to be 3 hours long and you're going to like it, Gemma.
I'll be popping to the loo eventually then.
That's fine. That's fine. Me and Luke can take over.
Well, we only have 2 hours of recording separate audio. So, just saying.
Right.
On with the show, James.
Yeah, so obviously we get the first dramatic scene of the terrorists arrive to do what they do. They kill Doc for stealing their plutonium. Marty tries to escape, accidentally activates the time machine because it's like the famous line of "Let's see if you bastards can do 90."
Yeah,
hits the time circuits and accidentally ends up time traveling to 1955. As Doc pointed out earlier, the date, the 5th of November, 1955, the day he invented time travel.
Yes, it was.
So then, obviously, Marty crashes through. He travels back in time. He thinks he's going to hit the mall. And then obviously lands in 55, ends up flying through a field and into a barn. There's a fantastic shot of the kid dragging his father over to the barn with a shotgun going, "Look, Dad, aliens!" Holding up the comic book from the 50s. And it's like the DeLorean's gull wing opens and Marty jumps out in a radiation suit.
Yeah.
It's like, God darn it. And he starts blasting him with a shotgun.
Yeah. No disrespect to our American listeners, but that seems to be a typical reaction for Americans, is that shoot first, think later.
I don't blame them. It seems to have worked for them so far.
Yeah.
So Marty discovers he's stuck in 1955, and him walking, as I said before, walking around Hill Valley, seeing it all dolled up, because we see it in the beginning in the 80s and it's obviously run down. There's graffiti everywhere. A lot of the shops are closed, so they're all boarded up. And then to see it in its heyday.
Also, the clock tower's working as well. The other thing.
The clock tower's working. The gas station's working. The buildings are painted. They look fantastic. The cinema's open.
Yep.
That he crashes into later.
Yeah, it's all there, right? It all has everything kind of gets a little check-in. Like you reveal Hill Valley, you see the cars, you see the gas station. You're checking in on everything all around the square.
Well, it's just to show you that it truly is. It's not a dream. It's that he's definitely, it's affected everything, because he drives up to what should be his house, because he panics at first. Because the first thing he does is he drives out the barn, runs over one of the pine trees, which is foreshadowing for later.
Yeah.
Runs over one of the pine trees, drives to Lyon's estate, his housing estate, only to discover it hasn't been built yet.
Yeah, exactly. Thank God for that billboard.
Yeah. Ditches the DeLorean. Hides the DeLorean behind the billboard, walked back to town, and that's when we see him walking into Hill Valley. He gets to the diner. He gets introduced to the current mayor of 1985 in 1955, mopping the floors of the diner.
And he's not had the thought to become a mayor yet, has he?
Which again that's the wonderful foreshadowing of he's going to be mayor. Yeah, Mayor Goldie.
Yeah,
and I like the fact that they kind of don't address the racial disparagement, because the owner of it says a black mayor, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
And then tells Goldie to go and clean up some spilt milk.
Exactly. Just quickly, because the purpose, there was going to be one thing that I was going to bring up at one point, which was, because obviously he went into the diner because there was a free payphone that he could use. Or I don't know if it was free actually, but it was a payphone that he could use. And and he obviously found the number out of the telephone book because he's trying to find Doc. And but I was going to say, because I know that this film will never ever be remade, but if there was a reality where this was remade and teenagers from 2025 were in that situation, would any of them, first of all, know how to use that telephone? And second of all, would they be able to use that phone book and know what to do with it?
Yeah, really interesting thought. I never actually put two and two together, because I think my kids know what a phone looks like because there was still some of the Wiggles with a big yellow telephone in some of their skits.
Yeah.
But was it a rotary phone? Because that's the other thing. It's the rotary dial. That's what gets people.
Yeah.
The only reason I know how to use a rotary phone is because I had one. Because my dad is 83.
Yeah.
So nothing ever got thrown out. So he had a rotary phone as a backup.
I remember using them at my auntie's house. I used to use them at my auntie's house growing up when I was a kid. I think maybe it was a New Zealand slightly behind the times thing.
It would never work. A remake would never work. Plus, I love the fact that Robert Zemeckis said the best thing ever, which was his response to a remake or a sequel was "over my rotting corpse."
Yeah, that was the same with Bob Gale as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were like, nope,
Never.
we did it. It's done. Leave it alone.
And
Yeah.
God bless them for that. You know, I'm not religious,
Yeah.
but God bless them for that, because I never want to see a remake of this film.
Yeah.
Stage show, absolutely perfect, but not a remake.
Yeah.
They keep trying. They keep trying with this AI garbage, and they keep trying to like. I saw one where it was like they cast Tom Holland.
Tom Holland,
as like a reimagining of, and I'm like, it didn't work for Drake. It didn't work for Nathan Drake. It's not going to work for Marty McFly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why? I never understand this with remakes. I mean, sometimes, maybe some, but I never understand why something as good as these films are, and whether, I know the three of us agree that they're good films. Some people out there might disagree that it's not a good film, but why anyway does it ever need to be remade if the product is already out there? But the only thing that I think, and I'm sort of moving on a little bit, but obviously we'll circle back. But there's obviously things that are said from the 80s perspective, and also what would have been said in the 50s perspective that couldn't be said in today's standard, like what the band are called when they're in the car, for example. I don't want to say it because it doesn't sound quite right. But, there's lots of things like that as well, isn't there? Yeah, James is nodding at me. I'm obviously doing very well here.
No. You're spot on in that, like, unfortunately, times have moved on. It's going to be very difficult to address this. But it's also the fact that the only reason they keep trying to do it is money.
Yeah.
They just want the money.
Yeah, exactly.
They fail to understand that by the only way to do it any justice is just to simply recreate it, and we don't want to recreate it because we already have the original.
Yeah,
that's where it all falls down.
We'll go back to our Ghostbusters conversation from earlier.
Again, yeah. It's like they just simply reproduced it in a modern take, and it didn't work because it was a product of the time.
Yeah,
it needs, unfortunately, as I say, in the 1950s, I think they covered the 50s period really respectfully.
Yes, so do I.
The fact that the band, because again, I've been watching. Have you heard of the film Green Book?
No.
It was a film that Viggo Mortensen did it just after Lord of the Rings, and it's set in the 50s, and it's an Italian mobster takes a job driving a black gay jazz musician across the US for a world tour.
This is ringing a bell, so I think I might have seen it, just forgotten the name of it, because that definitely rings a bell when you're saying that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film. And again, that's one that doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
And it's set in the same kind of time period, 50s, 60s. It's set in that heart, and it is that thing of they use a lot of racially disparaging words towards Dr. Shirley, who is the performer. Again, you can't hold back when you're telling the truth, and it adds to a compelling story. And that's the problem. I feel like, as I mentioned before, Robert Zemeckis is the king of making it family friendly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like maybe a couple of sneak words or a couple of maybe small scenes in there that the adults might get, but the kids will miss it completely. Yeah.
Like, the only reason that when I was a kid, I thought Goldie wouldn't make it as the mayor is because he was a janitor, not because he was a black man in America in the 50s.
Yeah.
And that's the way I love the approach. Same with the musicians, because it's Billy Zane's insult is about the fact that they smoke.
Yeah.
Because when they all step out the car, it's billowing out. Only now as an adult do I realise that's because they're meant to be smoking marijuana.
Yeah,
and they're supposed to be hotboxing in the car.
Yeah.
But again, it's tasteful, but it's of the period. I don't think people will be able to look past it. Again, the greasers, the 50s greasers in the diner, when we get that we get the first interaction between George, Marty, and Biff.
Yeah.
Biff bursts in the door and yells McFly. They both turn round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't realise that he's sat next to his dad at that point, does he?
No, he does. Yeah. He does. That's the thing. He realises, and then he's like, holy shit, this is my dad, because he hasn't changed.
But I love the way that they both turn around in unison with the limbs in the exact same symmetry as each other.
Yeah,
it's so good.
They literally have the same response. It's like mirror image, that's how they respond to getting yelled at by McFly. We get introduced to Biff Tannen, who is you know what? I think he does a fantastic job, and I'm so annoyed the actor who played Biff he didn't get as much widespread career as he should have done.
No,
I have seen him in other things, and he's a fantastic comedian. He's a fantastic singer as well, because he kind of fade off, but he has a fantastic comedy song of "Stop Asking Me Questions." And it's all things people keep asking him about Back to the Future.
As a little side note as well, just quickly, that I went to, I think it was London Film and Comic-Con, and Christopher Lloyd was there, and I'm sorry but I've forgotten, but the actor who played Biff, and I've forgotten his name, so I do apologise for that. But one of the,
Give me 2 seconds. Tom Wilson. There you go. Well, fantastic man.
Yeah, they were both amazing guys. And because it was like a Q&A type thing, so one of the people in the audience actually turned around and said that, because obviously they're a lot older now, they said, well, the aged makeup really was quite good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, bang on.
Well, I always noticed it was very subtle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't go over the top with it, like because again they were only talking for them 15. I think it was 25 years.
Yeah.
So most of it was just a little bit of grey, a little bit of extra wrinkles. So that they could cover both time periods. And it works really, really well.
Yeah.
It does work really well. But as I say, we get the diner scene, then we get our first action sequence of the chase through the town square, which is superb. Marty invents skateboarding.
He does, yeah. Not even sure what that box thing was that the kid was riding on, but I guess it was like the early skateboard.
I think it was supposed to be kind of like a pseudo scooter, because it had handles that someone had made for the kid, because it was like a fruit crate that had been nailed to it, because that's what he pulls off just so it's the board.
Yeah.
And then he's skating around. Biff keeps up the family tradition of running into shit trucks.
That's right.
Which I got to admit, again, as a car guy, it is kind of sad to see because it's a beautiful Ford.
It is a beautiful car.
Biff's car in the 50s is gorgeous. Griff's car in 2015 is a shitbox.
Yeah, but also the people inside the car deserved to have all of that manure.
Oh yeah,
them.
yeah. Billy Zane is a horrible human being, and no one talks about the other guy.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing I was just going to add on about the Tom Wilson, I read his book, and he's incredibly deep and artistic, which took me by surprise for someone who's been Biff. So he's a painter. He's got work at the Disney Gallery. So when I read his book, he was saying things like it took him ages to kind of get over the role of Biff and, the stigma of being typecast as Biff. And then he had this kind of realization of like, actually, that's made me into pop culture. And so it's sort of embracing that. And then some of his paintings are of the elephants on the Dumbo ride at Disneyland. It's just that kind of self-reflection of like pop culture stuff in the zeitgeist stuff that he's played with. I thought it was really interesting.
He does it he seems like a really, really down to earth guy when you see all the interviews about him. Almost like he didn't want to be an actor.
Yeah.
You know, it was one of those things of not that he got pressured into it. It's a bit like Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford never wanted to be an actor. He was a goddamn carpenter.
Yeah,
and it's George Lucas's fault that we even have him, that he even exists.
Yeah.
If it weren't for George Lucas, we wouldn't have Harrison Ford.
Yeah, fascinating how many people fall into acting that not even just for a one-off. It's like, okay, you're actually an acting legend, that you accidentally became.
I mean, I almost feel like it's one of those things of, as I said before, I just wish he'd done more things so that it wasn't the only point of reference, but most of the stuff he's done is like TV. So, unless you're a fan of that show and, you're not going to see it. But anyway, back to the action. So he escapes and he finally runs down Doc Brown and we get our fantastic introduction to him with his fantastic psychic headgear.
Yes. Yeah, I like the references to the life preserver. So so he gets Marty walks in at the cafe and they say, "What's with the life preserver?" Because he's got the red vest on. And then when Doc's trying to guess where he's coming from, he's saying Navy Reserve.
You want me to donate to the lifeboat reserves?
Yeah.
No,
that was really clever. Yeah,
it's when he yanks it off and he's like, "No, I'm from the future."
Yeah. He's just kidding himself, sort of thing, that his device was working. But if he'd said yes, that it's like he knows in himself that the device wasn't working, and he's just kind of done what all the faux psychics have done.
I love Doc's rant when he finally gets to him, and he's like, it's almost like he's trying to, he's almost capable of believing him, but he's still mocking him. He's like, "Oh, and you're going to tell me that the president is, it's like, oh, so who's the president in the future? Ronald Reagan. Oh, and who's the deputy?" And it's another famous actor. I think he says who's the vice president? Clark Gable. And it's only when Marty, exasperated, is like hammering on the door going, "I know why you hurt your head," because he's got a fresh cut on his forehead. Doc's got that fresh cut on his forehead. He's like, "I know how you got that. You fell off the toilet, you hit your head on the sink, and you came up with a flux capacitor." And Doc's face when he opens the door, is like, my whole world image has just been shattered. And then we jump cut to Marty turning on the flux capacitor in the car, proving basically again, look, it's exactly how you invented it. Doc shows him the hand drawing. So I came up with this tonight. Yeah. And you built it 30 years from now. So then it becomes the adventures of Doc and Marty in the 1950s of them sneaking through the school and trying to work out, you get Doc's famous 1.21 gigawatts rant. You need a bolt of lightning. What did you say? A bolt of lightning. I love the way that he says that in the same inflection.
Yeah.
He literally copies himself. brilliantly.
Yeah, and it's also cool as well because he's Marty's got the flyer from the 80s as well, hasn't he? So it's it tells them exactly what time and date and exactly, you know, to the minute when the what's it called?
'Cause
Lightning. I was going to say electrical
Lightning,
storm, but yeah.
when the electric sparky thing comes down.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because in the beginning of the film, Jennifer writes her phone number on the back of the flyer that he gets given by a charity worker who's like, "Save the clock tower! It got struck in this time and date, and it deserves to be saved." And yeah, because that's it's the foreshadowing of Doc's like, "You can't predict lightning," so Marty's like, "We can." Hands in the leaflet, and then you see that wonderful, and then as they're trying to prepare, Marty realizes that he's involved himself into his own parents' life because he's got the photo of him and his siblings, and they're starting to fade away, and he's starting to realize he's screwed up the past. So that becomes a new side element of the plot where he's trying to convince George to have a backbone and talk to Lorraine, and we get the famous Darth Vader. "I am Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan." With a hairdryer wedged in his. He's got the hairdryer wedged in the back, and he's got Van Halen. He's got hair metal to terrify him with.
I was going to say, I love the use of Van Halen in this film as well. Yeah, that's so.
The music is absolutely fantastic, and I love the fact that the teacher who tells Marty he can't perform at the high school dance in 1985 is Huey Lewis.
Yeah.
I can't move past the Van Halen though, because actually that's not Van Halen, that's Eddie Van Halen, because they couldn't get the rights to Van Halen.
Yes.
So Eddie Van Halen did it, but his band Van Halen didn't do it.
Yeah,
which I think was fascinating. But yeah,
no, that's good.
But I just thought if anybody's listening and was waiting for us to say that, I've thrown that in.
Because I was going to say, on the cassette tape, isn't it just, it does say Van Halen, but they couldn't get the rights for it.
I thought it said Eddie Van Halen on the tape. I'll have to go and check.
I can't remember. I will have to go and rewatch it myself. I'm ashamed. I'm normally so prepared for these things.
Yeah, I can't believe it because he said he actually sold tempos, just so you know, a little bit behind the scenes.
Don't you dare dub me in, you
Shall I carry on or not?
No.
Okay.
Or you can do your podcast on your own.
But me and Luke, anyway, we rewatched the film. Let's just say that.
Hey, at least I admit it. I admit it.
Yeah, no, you do.
I normally have like 90% of it memorized. I'm sorry if this fell into the 10%.
That's all right. We'll let you off this once.
But yeah, we get the adventures of, we get the story behind how George met Lorraine. And it's like, yeah, Grandpa hit him with his car. Yeah, because he was hiding in the tree watching a fucking change.
Yeah, he was a dirty perv.
I have to admit, though, that scene always makes me wince.
What's it say?
I found the cassette tape, and it says Van Halen in big words with a tiny Edward above it.
Oh,
so it's
nice.
Edward Van Halen. Yeah, that's how they got around it.
So I was almost right. I reckon they wrote Van Halen, couldn't get the rights, so very quickly wrote on Edward.
Yeah,
it certainly looks that way with the writing.
Yeah, I was going to say also as well with the fact that it's tiny little writing of Edward as well. You would easily miss the fact that it doesn't say Van Halen. So
that's what they wanted you to miss.
Yeah,
that's exactly
I think
what
that was probably it. It was they wrote it as Van Halen, couldn't get the rights, so very quickly went fine. He did it on his own.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I always hate the scene where Marty gets hit by the car because his head hits the pavement hard.
Oh, yeah. You feel that, eh?
I feel it every time. I'm like, ooh. But then we get introduced to Calvin Klein.
Yes, Calvin Klein.
Because it's got to be your name. It's written all over your underwear. What are you doing looking at my underwear? I just had a quick peek.
Why is it purple?
Yeah. So yeah, it turns out that I've never seen purple underwear before. You shouldn't have seen it at all.
Yeah. He's like, where are my pants? She's like, on my hope chest. It's just de-pantsed him while he slept.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, great, my mother's a pervert.
And also, my mother fancies me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get the nice little cue of the TV on wheels being a completely new thing, and Marty being like, "Hey, I've seen this one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brand new. It's a rerun where I'm from." Like him trying to come up with excuses, and then it all builds up to him having to accidentally take his own mother to the prom, where she tries to get him drunk, kisses him in his car, to then tell him it feels like he's kissing his brother.
Yeah.
And then it's a fantastic, as I say, it's all handled in a surprisingly mature way, and at the same time, as I said, family friendly. George saves the day. Marty gets to play, although I have to admit it is a terrifying performance when he does his 80s solo section. The rest of it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the film is just fantastic for the little jokes. I know it's always kind of memed. The fact that the singer from the actual band who hurts his hand unlocking the trunk is, it's your cousin Marvin Berry.
Yeah.
Listen to this. The irony being that Johnny Be Good came out the year before, I think. There is meant to be there's a slight overlap of like the time period, but just
Right.
it is a fantastic film. And then again, the action scene at the end with, not only does he paraglide down from the cable, like Doc sliding down the cable to free up the fallen tree branch during the storm is just fantastic. Like you said before, Luke, him falling off the concrete cracking underneath him, so he's holding on to the bloody the hand of the clock.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so much of it is just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they're a bit. I think once I saw Back to the Future Part 2, I enjoyed the Enchantment Under the Sea dance even more, because you're then layering in, so while they're doing this, the future them is also just over in that building over there. And so the thing becomes bigger in your mind, where it's like, now I'm watching Back to the Future 1, knowing what happens in Back to the Future 2. And so you're kind of just now in a bigger scene going on.
Yeah, future Marty crawling over the stage of past Marty, saving him from Biff's gang by dropping the sandbags on them.
Yeah.
And you get that little scene of old Marty looking down and looking at him and going, huh, and just walking past them to keep going. Yeah. It's fantastic how they layered it and made it feel natural.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel like they were just blue screened in, even though they were.
Yeah.
It really felt seamless.
Yeah. Also, to circle back round to the car as well, with the dance, because obviously you got Marty and what's the mum's name? I've completely blanked.
Lorraine.
Yeah, so they're sat in the car, and the reason why, I mean, obviously he's shocked because that's his mum, full stop, and she doesn't obviously know at that point. But she, in the early scene, she makes a point of, I never chased after boys, I never sat in cars with boys, I never smoked, I never drank. And then there's the young version.
Yeah, she does all those things.
Yeah.
It's the stereotypical projection.
Yeah, exactly.
I never did all these things. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the fact that Marty has to be an arse to his own mum, because it's like, no, you're gonna have to. Even Doc says, no, you're gonna have to make her stop, because if she doesn't stop, you don't exist.
Yeah, exactly. But also, it's the case that he gets obviously dragged out of the car as well by Biff's gang, and then Biff sort of takes over where he ought to be. But then, because I'm literally, my brain has gone foggy now with regards to names and things, but his dad has never stood up to Biff. George, thank you. Has never stood up to Biff in his life. he's got now this opportunity to actually thump Biff. He's biffing Biff, and it's like, you think, oh, is that going to change things in the future?
Yeah, it felt like it was a hard enough hit to bring the timeline back into line, right? Like it was just such a pivotal impact that now we're on the straight and narrow again.
Yeah.
What I love is the way she says George as well.
Yeah.
When she cries out for help, you see him change, and for a left hook.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing you've got to remember is he tries to throw a right, Biff catches it and twists his arm around his back.
Yeah.
Because even Lorraine's like, you're going to break his arm, and he's like, you stay out of this. He shoves her back into the car, which is when she's like, she cries for George. So George just does a left hook and knocks him out.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, Luke, the follow-up to that scene in part 2, where future Marty steals the almanac, or what he thinks is the almanac, and the guy who's surrounding him was like, I think that guy took his wallet. I think he took his wallet.
Yeah.
I think this is going to seem really left field, but that just before we disappear off that idea of things happening in the scene that are happening, but they're off screen, but they're not there. So I mentioned to you guys today, I listened to your Lion King episode in preparation for this one. And I don't know if you know, but there's the Lion King, and then there's some sequels after that, which were kind of straight to video things, Lion King 2, and one of them is Lion King 2.5. Are you aware of that one?
I'm not.
I think it's absolutely genius. I don't know. When we got Disney Plus, I just kind of chucked it on, and I just found myself so engrossed with it. It's the Timon and Pumbaa story that was happening while the Lion King was going on.
Oh, wow.
And so it shows them kind of in the bushes in the background and stuff like that. And I just thought it was just so perfect. Like, I love those little stories, because then you watch the Lion King and you get that same sense of like there's other stuff happening with Timon and Pumbaa at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I always loved like in Back to the Future 2, where it's the revelation that Doc bribes a police officer in the 50s.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, just some weather experiment. And Doc getting help from himself in the past, trying not to cause paradox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
no, I just thought.
Can you hand me that spanner? He's like, don't you mean that wrench? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, go and have a look at Lion King 2.5. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would when I heard the title was Lion King 2.5. It's just really good, really fun.
But yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic. I do love like when it finally all works. They're at the start line, the car won't start, and he's headbutting the steering wheel, and then it finally fires up. I'm like, that's the most accurate thing in this entire film so far.
Yeah.
The DeLorean won't start. Although that always bugs me because they're on a time crunch, which implies that if the car had started the first time, he would have missed the lightning bolt.
Unless he sat there and revved it up for a little bit.
Yeah, he was warming it up. I guess he was starting it, waiting for the countdown, but he just didn't have any. It started on 0 of the countdown or whatever.
That was always that was just my one grievance of he'd better be trying to start it early, because he does a fantastic handbrake turn to get it lined up.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, so why did you shut the car off?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it turns out he didn't. That's the thing. He doesn't. If you rewatch the film, the car stalls on the start line.
Yeah,
and that's why he's having to crank it and crank it and crank it. And fun fact, that car has mechanical fuel injection, so it's easy. It's the precursor from a carburetor, so it's very easy to flood. So that's the problem. He floods the car. That's why it stalls. Also because it's a giant pile of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the past like when he goes back to 85 and he goes back to the mall, because he goes back, I think 20 minutes early, 20 or 30 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So he goes back 10 minutes. Yeah, which is not really enough time.
Yeah.
But it's he goes back, he crashes through the front of the cinema, because that's always my favorite thing that they actually thought about, is the car is still running down from 90 miles an hour, well, 88 miles an hour. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Once he hit those two lampposts, he had nowhere to go other than into the cinema. And I'm impressed the car survived the impact. But yeah, the fact he manages to pull it out, he goes to the mall, which is now called the Lone Pine Mall.
Yep.
Because those are the bits that I really love about the storytelling. Is it's the knock-on effect of things where things have slightly changed.
Yep.
Like when he goes back, and it's like George is a much more confident man, yet his brother and sister are still in existence. He's still with Lorraine, but George is a celebrated author. Biff cleans cars for a living.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I quite liked that reality.
I do.
Yeah.
Again, it's the happy reality. It's what it's supposed to be. It's the idea of he went back and he didn't ruin everything. He actually made things better.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get Doc's reappearance at the end.
Yes.
Marty's opening the garage. It reveals that because Marty writes a letter to Doc, which he expressly forbids him to do. Don't tell me about the future, because you've seen what you've done already. You nearly wipe yourself out of existence. Don't tell me. And then it turns out Doc kept the letter and wore a bulletproof vest, so that when the Libyans shot him, it wouldn't actually do anything. Because, as I said, when he comes back to the mall, and it's he arrives just in time to see them shoot him.
Yeah.
So he has to watch himself go back to the 50s because he knows he can't intervene. The Libyans crash their car and assumedly die. And so he rushes over, and Doc reveals the magic bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact, there is no vest in production that will stop an AK-47 bullet from close range. So, a bit more movie magic, but again, I don't care. I can live with it.
Yeah. And it also means we get 2 more films. 2 more films.
Exactly.
Yeah. Imagine if that was the ending. It's like, oh man, what a downer.
Yeah. Oh no, he's still dead.
He didn't read the letter in the end. No.
Yeah, he didn't read the letter. He's still dead. Yeah. And then we get the fantastic finish of Marty's got the Toyota pickup truck in his garage, because there's this big, it's like this thing, like, because Marty's still remembering his old timeline of when Biff crashed the family car.
Yes.
When he turns up at the house, because he's like, George, it's your fault. I was reaching down for something and the brakes didn't work.
Yeah, there's a blind spot. Why didn't you tell me about the blind spot?
Yeah, why didn't you tell me about the blind spot? I never noticed no blind spot, Biff.
Yeah.
And
George, think.
Yeah, their rubbish little American Econobox transforms into a brand new 1980s BMW, and Marty's got his pickup truck, and then Doc makes his fantastic entrance, crashing into the trash cans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I love his outfit. I love the coat. I love the coat, the red Hawaiian shirt, the stainless steel sunglasses.
Yeah.
Clear plastic tie. He's just got a. What's the point of
definitely cannot see through.
The
clear plastic tie was awesome. And then he's dumping garbage in the back.
Yeah, the nuance of that though, where there's a banana peel being thrown into the Mr. Fusion, because obviously now the time machine is fueled by that, and then pouring liquid out of a can and then chucking the can
and then
in
tossing
afterwards.
the can. Yeah, it's like no. The beer must go in separately. Then we throw the can in, not just throw the whole can in.
Yeah,
I love to think that was because I love the fact that Mr. Fusion, the machine, because it's still technically nuclear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. It's just your everyday future nuclear that every kitchen in the future has.
Yeah, it's that. I love the fact that it's tied into that 1960s image of the future where everything was going to be nuclear powered. So they took the same concept and basically made, no, this is a reactor at home that doesn't require plutonium. But I do love the idea. I like to think that was just something that Christopher Lloyd came up with on the fly of bananas peel, dump the contents of the can in, and then go fuck it, throw the can in as well, close it, seal it. But I love that that's a coffee machine.
Yeah.
Mr. Fusion is actually a coffee grinder.
Yeah.
You're supposed to put the full-size beans in the clear pod, and then you switch it on, and it grinds it up into ground coffee for you.
Not garbage or rubbish.
Not fill it full of garbage and have a nuclear reaction.
Yeah.
And then we get the fantastic lead up to the second part of the car. It's like, Doc, you're going to have to back up. We don't have enough road to hit 88. Well, we don't need roads.
Yeah.
And then you get the hover mode. And I love the future license plate of the barcode. I think that's, again, another great we never got barcode number plates, and I'm very disappointed.
Yeah.
But no, I have to admit, it's one of those films of I could watch it and never be disappointed. I know everything that's going to happen. I don't care. I will continue to watch it because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Again,
Agreed.
all the characters are actually likable. Even Biff, to a point in that you love to hate him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a bad guy, but he gets his comeuppance at the end.
Oh boy, does he!
He's the perfect bad guy. Yeah, he's the perfect.
This is what I mean. Guy. Like he's still human because you see him. You see that he's got his. He's got his issues. He is a bit of a bully, but he's never evil. He gets close when he starts messing about with Lorraine in the car.
Yeah, that is.
And that's the most evil thing he does in the film.
Yeah, I think that's in some ways that's quite a hard scene to watch. I mean, it's a necessary scene, but you can sort of your brain kind of takes over in that he's probably going to do something a little bit extra that we don't want to see at that point.
It makes you very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
that's it. And I like, it's one of those things of which is why it makes George's actions so much more compelling, even though like there's no nudity, there's no violence against Lorraine. It's just the pure concept was the fuel he needed, and we get that beautiful left hook.
It just becomes the scene reflects the gravity of the timelines changing. So this is the tipping point. It has to be that big. It has to be that drastic. It also has to have that bigger jolt to bring you back into lineup. From the second that fist hits that face, everything changes.
Yeah.
Lorraine now looks at George different. Everything's back on track.
I was just about to say that. You can tell from the way that Lorraine looks at George, like that this is
literally that second.
She is enamored with him because he did the one thing because that was the worst part, was there was an audience.
Yeah.
Because that was, I think that was what upset. That was the other thing that makes the scene uncomfortable, is people are gathered round because Biff was coming after, because Biff and the gang were coming after Marty.
Yep.
Get him, and the gang drags Marty off to throw him in the boot of the car. And then Biff goes on the raid. There's still people hanging around doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that then it's George that stands up to it, because that's the thing. Like it become when he's playing Earth Angel and he starts stumbling because George wavers slightly on the dance floor before pushing Ginger away.
Yeah. It's also because they haven't had their kiss as well, isn't it? That's why everyone keeps fading.
That's what fuels the kiss. But that's what fuels the kiss, is George realizes, no, I've stood up to Biff. I can stand up to anyone,
especially a ginger tosser.
Yeah.
Again, rewatching it once you've seen the second one, you think of that dystopian Biff future where he's got his casinos and all that sort of stuff, and the broken down Lorraine that's in those two.
Oh.
Yeah,
you know that it traces back to that exact moment. Like, it's just so pivotal, so huge.
But yeah, it's, as I say, it's wonderfully shot in the sense of, as I've said before, it feels family friendly, but at the same time, it carries the gravity. And again, the music choices from Robert Zemeckis, his soundtrack is superb. When you start hearing the theme pick up
Yeah.
when it starts drifting into dun 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 dun. Again, Alan Silvestri, the composer, is absolutely fantastic. Does not get the credit he deserves because he's done a lot of decent soundtracks. But yeah, it's just iconic, and yeah, I love it. I will never have a bad thing to say. I can nitpick till the cows come home, but I will never say that it ruins a film.
No, exactly.
In fact, one of the reasons I hate Avengers Endgame is because they have the audacity, the nerve, to say that Back to the Future got time travel wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. I could have punched Mark Ruffalo through the screen when he said that.
I didn't even pick up on it, to be fair. So
yeah,
I don't study things; I just watch.
No. Basically, there is a scene in Avengers Endgame where they're trying to explain time travel. Of why can't we just go back and stop Thanos? And Paul Rudd is listing off time travel films. And he named Back to the Future. And Mark Ruffalo's like, yeah, time travel doesn't work like that, when actually it's their film that gets time travel wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but I'm conscious that it is now 10 to 11 at night in New Zealand. So I think it might be time that we start to wrap this up, because I can imagine that Luke is probably a little bit tired now. So
yeah, getting there.
In which case, I'm going to hand over to him. So Luke, final thoughts.
Oh man, on the spot. Yeah, we didn't dive into 2 or 3 too much.
That's because we're doing that on the next 2.
Yeah, that's if you want to do the next 2, you know where to find me.
Yep.
The other side of the planet.
Absolutely.
No.
The other side of the planet with a non-functioning microphone.
Yeah. Saved by the $20 daily deal.
Yeah.
No, my final thoughts. There's the film's got a special place in my heart. It wasn't until I kind of hit my teens and realized actually me and this movie are from the same year, and then it just even more kind of just cemented itself into that comfort food sort of area like we talked about. So
the mac and cheese of cinema.
It was no coincidence. My 40th this year was a big cinema screen in a big shed where we watched this movie, got a big popcorn machine, invited all my friends, put it on louder than, as loud as you would want it to go. And I had an absolute ball. I don't normally have big parties. This was my first one since my 21st. It was one of those things that I wasn't sure whether I should do or not. And then as soon as it was there and all of my friends were around me, it was like, I was literally grinning weeks later at how awesome it was. So,
and I hope Tony was there as well. I hope you invited him.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, front and center. Yep.
Well, that's all right then. Yeah. It's not like
it was one of the last to leave.
Oh, okay, that's all right then. Yeah.
That's only because you tied him to the chair.
It was one of those perfect. One of those perfect ones where you have a party and there's all of your friends and workmates, all that. It's a big crowd that gets there.
Yeah.
And then it kind of finishes, but 1 or 2 hang around.
Yeah.
And then you just keep talking on into the night. It was just that perfect sort of a thing.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
So yeah, Tony was one of them. My friend Jim, the most haunted guy I know, was another. He stuck around too.
Hey.
So yeah, that was really cool. Yeah. That's my final thoughts. I can't get enough of this one. It's near and dear for sure. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
definitely.
And you could tell by the way that we were messaging back and forth. It's like, well, here's all my things from here's all my DeLoreans, here's all my Lego sets, and everything in between. Your films, the film sales you're kindly sending my way, Gemma.
Oh no, I'm just going to say that on mine. I mean, to be fair, out of all of the stuff that you guys have got, I've got pretty much just one thing, and I'm keeping it. Okay.
I've got one thing, and it's staying that way.
Yeah, and actually, it's the most coolest out of all of it.
I agree. Hence why you're on my list if I'm ever on that hemisphere.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm going to rob her house later.
Yeah. Good luck getting past socks.
I'm just going to give him cheese.
Yeah. Give him that's right. Give him the shits, and then you can take my stuff.
Cheese and belly rubs. He'll be mine.
Oh, he would be. He would be.
I'm taking socks as well.
No, you're not. No, you can have that. You're not having my dog. Anyway, still,
No,
Luke wants to go to bed.
I think, yeah, and definitely we will definitely have you back for part 2 and 3 when hopefully Stafford returns.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, 4 years from now.
Yeah.
I can't talk about slagging people off for missing weeks on a podcast.
No.
You know that more than anyone, Gemma. I had 3 years off on my one.
I've been a loyal listener of Lights in the Sky podcast for about 8-9 years, but there was about 3 years I was waiting for the next episode.
Yeah. I imagine it much like those people that send the radio transmissions out to space to see if they hear back from alien life.
Yeah.
For you, it was like you keep refreshing that feed, and then one day it lights up with a new episode of Lights in the Sky. So,
well, I kept refreshing.
There is intelligent life.
I kept refreshing the feed, and then you changed it.
Yeah. Well, that was unfortunate.
No.
But yeah, needs must.
Yeah.
It was the easy way to get it back going again. Trust me.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine Gemma disappearing for 3 years.
Oh.
Bad enough if we don't have an episode a week.
Well, every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's impressive. That's impressive.
So, am I correct in thinking that practically we're all 10 out of 10 gold star in a tick for this film?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It goes without saying.
Yeah. I think it's a 10 out of 10, and then once you've watched Back to the Future Part 2, it's an 11 out of 10 somehow.
Yeah.
No, it becomes a 30 out of 30 because then all 3 films are perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm like with scoring systems, though, right, Gemma?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a solid 5 out of 7.
Solid 5 out of 7. Yeah, exactly. But no, I agree. Yeah. It's just, like you said, it's a warm blanket on a cold day. It's like, I remember when I was younger growing up, and it was like almost every other Sunday it was on the telly, especially in the winter. It just like snuggled up in a blanket, and just watching the film.
Yeah.
So, So in that case, then, I think that we've been talking enough celluloid codswallop. I have been Gemma.
I have been James.
I have also been James. Wait. Got that wrong. I'm Luke. I have been Luke.
I've been Luke. Now I'm going to be Susan. Oh. That's a wrap.
This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.